we'll just move that down to where that's in the center. How's that look? So you guys know with that bubble in the center like there? So that, does that prove the earth is flat? Pretty much. That's what I think. Okay. Was you in here when I talked about that?
Yeah.
I can't get anybody to ever buy on that though, so we won't. Oh, we wanna mark that. So I'm gonna take mine, okay, so we're 90, right, 90. You could take a square if you wanted, I guess, and make sure you're 90. But I'm gonna just assume that's 90. I wanna make a mark. So you don't wanna use a piece of tape or anything, but you just kinda wanna, cause that would affect balance, right?
Yeah.
So we wanna just kinda mark that, so we kinda put it in the same spot each time. What? So as long as this is 0, as long as you're back here holding them up there like that, that's good. Yep, okay. So if you move it down here, of course you have to probably adjust it, right? Because you're way past 0 here. You'd have to move these guys and this guy, right? So I just made it easy, and that's set. So I just found where 0 was. And I just made it easy on myself. I mean, you could take this out, move it into here, if you want. You could move it all the way down to here, if you wanted. But it would just be an adjustment right there, which just made it easy on myself. Okay, but if this was an aileron, you may have to completely remove everything, right? Okay. So what does it say to do now? So we've adjusted the trailing edge support to fit the control surface being balanced by centering of the balance beam, right? So we're center 0, right? So then it says remove the balance beam and balance the beam. Okay, this is an important step. All right, so we have to balance this beam. So let's do that. Make life too easy on me here. I gotta change stuff up. Here you go, sir. You want to balance that. So we're gonna move this. We're gonna move this weight right here. This is our balancing weight. This little slider right here. This is our little balancing weight right here. So just move that until it balances. So go back to level, so you know what kind of level is. You know the earth is flat, so you have to be level. You can put this little guy on here if you want. No, you don't need it, you can just guess that. You believe the earth is flat now?
No, Earth is not flat. Trick.
Hey. And we'll call that balanced, okay? You're not gonna get it much closer than that. Oh, so I'm gonna tighten this up. Then after we tighten this up, just verify it, so in case I move something. You like? We'll call that balanced. You good? So if you're balancing this thing with the, if this was set up like down here and everything was balanced and you got to right here,
then you moved it to this next notch, and then it was off, you could stack washers here to get it into balance, okay? So that's an option for us, and that's why that's there. So you could stack washers there, just to fine tune it. Just remember that you'd have to keep those washers on the whole time, right? Okay. All right, so our beam is balanced, then what does it say? Fine balance, so that's what we just said. So fine balance may be accomplished by using washers at the long screw, okay? Just what we just said there. So when positioning the balance beam on the control surface, avoid the rivets. So we've talked about that. So let's flip the page.
No, they're there.
So paint is a considerable weight factor. In order to keep balance weight to a minimum, it is recommended the weight's going to be forward of this hinge line. So you see our hinge line, right? And so they've stuck this weight out as far forward as they can. Okay? So why do you think they would do that? For balancing and for what other reason? So it's a counterweight. So the more I go forward, the less weight I would need though, right? You agree with that? So if I was to put this all the way back here, this amount of lead would have to be a lot more. So it saves weight, right? And it still creates an underbalance, okay? So the far forward as you can go, the less weight you would need. True statement? Or not? What do you think? Yeah? I can sell you that easy? Huh? That's what I think. I mean, that's what makes sense to me. We'll do a little lap in the hangar when we're done, and you guys are going to start seeing the similarities of all the flight controls, because all this counterbalance weight is all forward of this hinge line. Okay. All right. So let's see where we're at now. So step 10 there is just a note. So we want to look at this service letter. Okay, so this is the service letter that's going to tell us how to balance. Same information you have there. So we just made a couple copies here. And we just kind of brought in the service letter and the actual procedure out of the ATP Navigator. I'm looking for a particular thing though. Where did it say our underbalance? Oh, it's on this page. Okay, so remember that our underbalance is 0 to 19.52. So we have almost 20 inches to play with here, okay? All right, so that will become important when we start talking about it. We should have maybe kept these separate, so now I'm kind of confused.
My bad.
No. Okay, so try to go to level. I want to show you what level is here. So go to level for me. So if this was a actual flight control shop with a balancing table set up, they'd have a little tool set up where you could adjust this with a finger and you could come down to the leading edge and you could start at the same point every time, right? You just pull the little tool out, do your balance. We don't have that here in our school. We don't have a lot of things here. You didn't put that on tape, did you?
I'm editing it.
Okay. So I've just come on down here. So we want to start. See that line? That's where we want to start at, in that vicinity every time. Okay. All right. You with me? Just realize that in an actual shop, you would have a little piece of tool with a little metal rod that you could just put your leading trailing edge on there and start your balance. Okay. You guys with me? I don't feel like you're with me.
It's kind of a zombie crew.
They're kind of like zoned out, aren't they? Okay, so here's 0. So we got 0 to a positive 19.52, right? Okay, so who wants to come over here and balance this? You did a pretty good job. Come on over here. So, here's how we wanna do this. You take the trailing edge here. Okay, I got it. Okay, so remember, we're trailing edge heavy, so it means that's a what? Underbalance or overbalance, okay? So move you slide the weight and I'll be your. Okay, still you go a lot. Okay, stop. Getting close. Back up a little bit. See where you. Are we hitting on anything over there?
Yeah, we are.
So we can't be hitting on anything.
Yeah, we're not.
Okay. Felt like we were hitting on something. Okay, stop. Okay, that's too much. Too much. Okay, not enough. We'll just tweak it.
It's not touching.
Somewhere in between.
Nobody
Pretty
breathe.
close. Liking that? And that's pretty close, right? Because if I do it just a little bit, can you put that bubble back on there, bubble level back on there just for a second? Let me find a little, make sure I'm good. Okay, so I got my little hand positioned here. Okay, take that off, that'll affect balance. That's pretty good, guys.
That's pretty good.
So, to sign this off in the book, we're allowed 0 to 19.52, right? So are we within the limits?
Yeah.
So we are. All right, our limits would be, what is that, 8 point something? What does that say? Each one of those marks, is there 10 marks in between each one of them?
Yes, there's 10 marks.
Okay, so what mark are we at?
At 5, 8.5.
8.5. Okay, so we would be an underbalance of 8.5 inches. You guys see that? Don't see that? Okay, what's my underbalance? 19.5. Then what, our tolerance is 19.52, right?
Yeah.
All right, so would we be pretty confident of selling this off as saying performed elevator balance per all those procedures? You're gonna write those in your logbook, right? And our underbalance was positive 8.52 or 8.5, right? Okay, so grab this leading edge now. Just keep that weight the same. No, just keep that the same. Grab this leading edge. Sorry, told you wrong. Trailing edge, please. Okay, you got it? Okay. So I'm gonna put some weight on here, and I'm gonna show you how much weight you could actually add to this flight control and still be in balance. All right?